Hey everyone, it's Katie from Heroine Gaming, and I'm here today to talk to you about the gamification of fitness. I wanted to do this for one of my first videos because I know so many people that are working on getting in shape right now, myself included. And today there are so many different tools to help motivate you or to track your success. But does my Apple Watch actually help me? Can a Wii U help someone get in shape? If I pretend I'm essentially in The Walking Dead, am I gonna run harder or faster? We'll look at all of this over the course of the next few minutes. But first, we have to look at the advent and proliferation of activity tracking. So over the last few years, I'm sure you've seen the incredible rise of devices like the Jawbone wristband, the Fitbit, or, again, my Apple Watch. These devices all interact with apps on your smartphone, and those apps can track nearly everything from calories to running distance, and even your heart rate if your device supports it. We obsess over those little numbers. We look at charts of our weight loss, maps of our run, macro percentages of our food, or graphs of our deadlifts. We like our friends' statuses on MyFitnessPal when they lose pounds. But does this obsession help us? According to several professors in the UK, not quite as much as we would like to think. The consensus was that there's no concrete evidence that says that these devices are actually helpful. And in fact, research states that these devices suffer from a poor implementation and are actually more of a solution in search of a problem. Ouch. Not only that, but over 30% of people stop wearing these devices within the first 6 months. After a year, 50%. Those numbers aren't good, so what's going on? It might help us to gain a deeper understanding here if we started with the different types of motivation. So this is a really simplified version, but at a basic level, we have two kinds, extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. As you might guess, extrinsic motivation comes from external or outside motivators, essentially rewards, right? So money, achievements, or recognition, those are all examples of this. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. Essentially, it's your own motivation or enjoyment of a subject. So the main issue here is that these devices don't actually change your behavior or create new habits in any way. They provide extrinsic motivation, but your best chance of success is if you combine that with intrinsic motivation. Not only did the same study that I mentioned earlier agree with this, but in addition, another group of researchers also stated that those likely to keep using their fitness wearables in the long term are those who are already fit. They're essentially saying that these devices help you perfect existing habits, but what they don't do is help you create new ones. It all comes down to intrinsic motivation, and that's one thing that fitness apps, devices, or games can't give you. That's all on you, unfortunately. In order to encourage you to use your device longer and to sell more product, manufacturers capitalize on social aspects, rules, or other interactivity to help create varied extrinsic motivation. And this brings us to the gamification of fitness itself. This is usually presented in a few different ways. The most common ways include points, achievements, leaderboards, clearly defined goals and rewards or feedback, and story. One of the most popular examples of an app that uses many of these elements successfully is Zombies Run. In this app, you have a few different markers of your progression. You have clearly defined goals with rewards. Your goal is to make it through to the next story, and you can receive items to help build out your community's defenses against the zombie horde. You also have the story itself, which helps motivate you by rewarding your hard work with what is essentially an interesting and engaging audiobook that puts you in the role of the protagonist itself. We could also consider my very own Apple Watch again, which works with many of the fitness apps on the market. It also reminds me to stand up every hour, rewards me with badges for exercising, and just generally motivates me to stay more active. Earlier, I mentioned that social interactions are being added to these fitness tools as well. The crossroads of gamification of fitness and social media is a relatively new area of research, even newer than the gamification of fitness itself. So, one of the big questions is, do we work out for likes? Turns out the answer is yes. Two researchers in Finland found that social influence and positive recognition have a strong correlation with their motivation for exercise. It also significantly increased the use of gamification apps or tools. This also might be fairly obvious when you think about it, but those effects are kind of exponential too. The more friends you have in a service, the more likely you are to use it. Basically, people are using the social aspects of the gamification of fitness as motivators in the same way that we use social aspects of video games as encouragement to keep playing the game. When all your friends are doing it, you're more likely to as well. So, the final question, Is it worth buying the latest fitness app or wearable? Maybe, but you should consider a few different things before you justify that purchase. Are you already working out or eating better, but are just looking for more ways to motivate your success? Or are you looking for a motivational kickstart? Do a lot of your friends use it too? When it comes to wearables, it's often easier to justify a purchase that has more than one purpose. A smartwatch, for example, is a lot easier to justify if you use it for something else besides just fitness tracking. If you're already self-motivated, you have a community of friends using the tool that you're looking to use, and it's within your budget, then I'd say go for it. If you guys want to know more about the gamification of fitness, I included all of my references on my website, which I will link to below in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video interesting. Thank you.